I'm just going to talk about a few things about the cargo bike that you need to be aware of, not just for this model, but just in general. The first thing is, what I think is a must, is some sort of protective guard for the kids. So what you don't want is the kids getting their leg caught in here, and this here provides a protective guard, so I'd be looking for that. Like on most bikes, if you're in the city or if it starts raining, you want some mudguards on the rear, the front there. The other thing is, one of the problem areas of most cargo bikes is the kickstand or the bike stand. Now this particular model here is very, very bulky. The problem with a lot of them is this is where the bolt can come loose here. You have to be really aware of that. If you hear it rattling when you go over a bump or something, make sure you tighten this screw here. And I'll do a video later on about how to do that. The other thing is try and use your foot to soften the bump when the bike goes from the no kickstand to kickstand in reverse, because sometimes the kids can be on the back, they can bump and hurt themselves. So what I'm thinking of doing on this one is to put the bottom here, because it's actually off the ground, put like a display stand underneath it, like a shape of an M, the V point that holds the back wheel, and that will then give stability when you're loading the kids on. So that's an idea that I had to get around that. The other thing, make sure that this rear basket is tight as well. If the kids are going to use that to hold on, that's really, really important. The other thing is with the cargo bikes, just be aware of the extra width you've got at the front. I know it's a very obvious thing to say, but this is a lot wider than what you're sometimes used to with the bikes. Obviously, most people are used to the width being just the width of the front forks. But remember, when you're turning with the basket at the front, this basket doesn't move, it's stationary. So even though the wheel could be turning to the left or right, the basket remains in the same position. So just be aware when you're taking it out of the garage so you don't scrape your car or anything like that. The other thing is with the this one's got a throttle assist. This is a great way of taking off safely, because one of the hardest things to do is to take off up a hill with a lot of decent load on the back. What you'll find is that it'll be hard to get that initial motion, and you'll be going left to right, and it feels a little bit unsafe. What I would recommend, if you've got a throttle assist, use the throttle assist to take off, especially uphill. It just makes it safer, smoother, then you can get up to your speed. The other thing is, your pedal assist buttons here. Be really mindful of using your gears as much as you can. So what I did when I was riding, I noticed, obviously when you're going up a hill, crank it up a little bit, just so you've got that smooth speed. You're not overexerting yourself, and you're keeping that motion, especially in traffic. But on the reverse, when you're going downhill, take it down a gear or two, maybe down to 2 or 1, because you don't need to be pedaling. So let the bike do the work on that one as you're going down the hill. And the other thing is, if you try and pedal when you get to a certain speed, the gear ratio just can't handle it, and your feet will be flapping around and you won't be doing anything. The other thing you can do is with the gears is, if you want to keep the motor going, you can, but you can't pedal as fast as the speed. You can keep the motion of the pedal going just slowly like that, and that'll keep the motor engaged, and then you're able to keep a constant speed, which in traffic can be very, very helpful. And this bell here, that's your best friend. You need to use it to warn pedestrians, cars. I mean, with a car, they're not going to hear that. It could even be an idea, if you're really concerned, is to get sort of an air horn or something and place it on here so that you can alert cars. But this is great for pedestrians. If you're going down a cycle lane, they expect to hear that rather than you just going around them. They can get very frustrated. These grips here, these Ergo grips, are great. They're really comfortable. I think if I had a cargo bike or any bike that has that sort of plasticky, hard on your hands grip, I would convert it to an Ergo grip. One of the things you want to look for as well is that you have a nice low frame. And the reason being, when you're at the lights, it's really a lot safer to hop down off the seat and then straddle over the frame, and then your feet are firmly on the ground, and it's kind of easier to take off, then hop on the seat and then go. most important thing on the cargo bike is if you've got a child on the back, it's the most dangerous thing is the mounting when you put them on there. So make sure you've got a stable base. Don't lean it up against a fence. Make sure that the back base is stable. With this particular model, if you're loading a kid on, you load them on here, not on the back. Load them on the back, and then the back wheel will go down and the front wheel will go up, and that's not what you want. So you load the kid here, make sure they've got their helmet on before you put them in the car, child seat if you've got one, and make sure that child seat meets the European standards as well, which I'll probably do a video about later, what that European standard is. It's not worth saving money on a child seat. I'll get something that you're confident that it's going to be safe, because you're talking about the most precious cargo in the world. The last thing I'd say about the cargo bike that you do need to be aware of, and like any bike, is make sure you give yourself enough braking distance. So when I brake, I tend to use both brakes, not like that, with both hands. I've got the camera in the other hand. Make sure that you're braking, so you're not braking suddenly, but nice steady braking with both hands if you can, and giving yourself plenty of distance, because they do take a little bit of time to haul up. And you've got to also remember that the bike weighs more than a normal bike in general, especially a cargo bike, and especially when you've got extra cargo on. That will slow down your braking time. So yeah, that's the most important thing. Make sure you're braking, and that's just part of riding the bike safely.